Welcome to Old School Future, the 4Runner edition. So since we're under kind of quarantine conditions or whatever, I decided it'd be a cool time to actually get some stuff done on the 4Runner. So I started delving into this area down here. I noticed that the flooring was worn through in one particular area, and you can see I've already treated this with a rust dissolver, but everywhere you see white, there was a little bit of surface rust from where the flooring had worn through, and then like someone's boot or whatever had scuffed the metal enough to make some light surface rust on there. It's not that bad actually, but I just wanted to take care of it before it got too deep. So I'm putting the liquid rust remover on there, and then I'm gonna take that off, add some primer, and then I think I'm gonna just spray underbody sound deadener, or the underbody protectant, all over this. But I wanted a nice clean surface first. I don't have the I'll show the bottle here in a second. I got it from AutoZone, and it's a gel format, and so the gel sticks on it a little bit better. And then it's supposed to take it off, and you're supposed to just like wash it off or scrub it off somehow. But I'm going to do that, and what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take all the seats out and pull it back on the other side too, just to make sure there's nothing over there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take out the seats, carpet, and we'll see about the console. It's already broken in one spot, so we'll see. So here's the rust dissolver I'm using. It's Rust-Oleum brand gel. Works in 30 minutes. It's supposed to be able to wipe off the rust after it's gone through. Rinse or wipe the surface. So far I've noticed it's not that easy, so I might have to like scrub it with something abrasive and then wipe it to make sure it's all off. But just looking in here, you notice you can see where the seats were. I don't think they've ever been removed, but the one cool thing, you can see what the original color of the seat was right here compared to the dirty part. You can see it's really dirty. And I'm going to take all this back, and it looks like it's split here, so maybe I'll check back over here, and if it's not too bad, I'll just leave this in place and spot clean it and stuff. And the same thing with over there. The carpet is split, so I can just take it up. I can take it up like this. Looks pretty good over here, but you can see where a couple places where the seats have rubbed through, so I'll probably touch that up. And there's a couple places where I don't know, something like somebody spilled something, but it's like bubbling up. Not just rust, it looks like somebody spilled like brake cleaner or something in here. But it looks pretty good everywhere else except for up there. I'll check on the other side too. Something to note on the passenger side seat, it will not roll up or down, and that is because we have a two-way locking deal here. Here's one, and here's the cord for the other one. It's not connected, and it's supposed to go through this portion and lock onto that, and then it's supposed to pull it open like this. Probably needs some grease, and then some other grommet over here. I don't know if the grommet just broke off or what, but that, since I got it, I haven't been able to move the seat up or down. Same thing over here. Let's see how this looks. I haven't checked it. It's pretty sticky. The deadener or whatever on here is kind of crispy, but it looks better on this side than the other side. Let's look. Ooh, that's way better. Look at that. No rub marks at all on that compared to the other side. That metal looks brand new. So you can see what color the car is supposed to be from the outside. So you can get a swatch of that, so you can match, your outside color. See if it's been repainted, which it probably has. But I got to take this strip off right here to get to under there to double check. don't know what this stuff is or what caused this, but it looks like rust. But this paint is just disintegrating off of here. I don't know why. It looks like it's coming from the surface. I'll double check to make sure it's not coming from underneath. But this paint is just disintegrating, like somebody dropped, like I said, brake dust in, or brake fluid in here or something, and just ate through it. Some kind of chemical got in here. I don't know what it is. The rubber or the seam welds or whatever, the seam caulking seems okay. Just some spots like this. Looks like I'm gonna have to go all the way back to the back seat. Everything else looks good. It just went through a couple places, and you can see it corroded the bolt there quite a bit too. So I'm gonna have to take it all out, all the way back to the back seats. Wiring looks good though. This looks like brand new still, right here. Coat of dust. Most of the dirt out though. Let me wipe that heater down a little bit. Figure out why these boots are white instead of black. Something ate through that metal. Not sure what it is. So what I'm doing to get this really light rust off, I'm using a Brillo pad or a steel wool. And I mean, it's probably way too abrasive because I notice I'm getting off some fresh paint too, but it works great. And I'm going to spray it all down with self-etching primer after I'm done anyway. So, and I notice I'm uncovering a lot more rust than what you see, of course, with your eyes. So getting as much to the shiny metal as I can, or to the gray primer, depending on where it is. You can see there's a lot. Got all this off over here, and it's, like I said, it's probably more abrasive than I'd want, but it does the job really fast, and I can get into some crannies like this. It's pretty actually deep here. Whatever it was probably set in this. I feel like something was in here, like a level of it. And wherever it settled, that's where the rust began. Okay, so here's how I apply the stuff. It says just squirt on, but I usually brush it on. So I put some, make sure it's on here. To the on. Turn it to on, spray some on there, get started here, there we go. And it just kind of globs on there because it is a gel. So then I get a brush that I want to probably end up throwing away and kind of just paint it. It's hard to do with one hand. Get a good even coating over there, and it says it takes 30 minutes to completely dissolve. One thing I have noticed, it will stain the concrete if you get on the concrete. So I'm going to spray it in here. Already vacuumed this all out, so there shouldn't be any. You can also kind of spray it sideways like this, and that way you don't waste as much. Put it on here. This is a gel, which is good and bad. They say if it's having a hard time sticking to stuff, dilute it 50-50 and then spray it on, and then it'll kind of coat stuff more evenly than the gel does. So I got it, and I'm going to go through and lightly just spread it out. Get this. and you might have to come back over it again if you miss some spots. But I like spreading it out with a old brush. Much better than just spraying it. Alright, so now we've gotten the rust off. We are cleaning off the white residue that rust dissolver leaves. There's a lot of it over here. Probably won't be able to get all of it off of some of these heavier areas, but I'm going to get as much as I can off before I start to spray paint it with primer. A lot of that came off there. Whatever that stuff gets on, if it's metal or plastic, kind of turns it white, even if it doesn't have rust on it. So here it is, mostly cleaned. Now we're going to start adding the primer everywhere. So we'll do the primer, maybe 1 or 2 coats on every little spot, and then we'll come back through and do some of the underlayment or the underguard stuff everywhere else. They're undercoating. And here's the before. Here's what we're starting with. Super dirty. That's where the holes are. Not too bad. Really dirty, really dirty. Pretty dirty. Check this out. This isn't even the dirty one. We're going to try to recreate this shift boot probably later, because I tried to spray it and you can tell it's not taking the spray. There's like not enough left of the shiny part, so we'll try to fix this. This is the cleaner of the two halves of the carpet, and look at all this stuff that is still coming out. I spent about $5 worth of just spray and water on them at the car wash, and look at it, it looks like tobacco juice. I have it thinking something got spilled in there and just soaked into the carpet, and they just vacuumed it out as best they could, but it's way dark. And here's some. This one looks worse, but not as much of this brown stuff coming out. Alright, here we are, ready to add back the interior. Some crunchiness over here. Alright, so here's the finished product. Everything's put in place. All kind of close to the same color, gray. There's something back there. I can't tell if there's a shadow or a stain. It might still be stained. I didn't do the backs of the very back seats yet, just the bottoms here. There we go. I'm going to try to detail the dash a little bit. It's not really clean yet. But overall, I think I would use that vinyl paint on the carpet. It definitely looks way better than it did.